You're ruining your own case. Offensive weapons and defensive weapons are the same thing. You don't give a school shooter a
We're at Vine Street Pub and Brewery on Vine Street, 1700 Vine Street. Congresswoman Diane DeGette is answering questions.
So what I'm saying to you, I hope you're getting this on. I put it out far and wide. The amendment that's going to come up in the fall is to stop the offensive weapons to Israel. And I thought long and hard about it over the summer because what is happening in Gaza is horrifying. And it's beyond words. And so this has gone far beyond Israel defending itself against Hamas. And I'm not going to vote for it. I also think we need to increase humanitarian aid dramatically, nationwide, for Gaza and for the Palestinians. That's what I intend to do. That's within my power to do this fall. Who's next? Yeah.
What can you do to stop the flow of progressive Democrats away from the party around issues like Gaza, around issues like single payer? How can we reunite the party, keep it progressive, keep the young people in? What can you do for that?
I mean, I think the way we keep everybody together is we realize that we share common values. Just so you know, and maybe you do know this, I have been a co-sponsor of the single payer bill ever since the very first time it was introduced, way before the ACA. And I always supported single payer. I think it's important to get this message out to everybody. But also, I think people have to, I think politicians have to listen to their constituents, but most importantly, they have to listen to their consciences. And that's where I've come down on this situation in Israel and other issues. So, you know, when we did the ACA, I was one of the chief whips to help pass that through the House. And we fought hard. We tried to do single payer, but we didn't have the votes to do that. So I fought hard, and I counted the votes with Nancy Pelosi one by one to get the public option. I think if we had had the public option in the ACA, we would have single payer by now. Why? Because everybody would have picked the public option and we would have transitioned into it. That's right. So, you know, the other thing I did in the ACA the first time is I blocked this, because I was the co-chair of what's now the Reproductive Freedom Caucus. I blocked, the very last amendment we did was an amendment to try to stop all insurance companies in the exchanges from offering abortion coverage. And I was able, even though 30 Democrats supported that, it was called the Stupak Amendment, I was able to stand up and to block that. And even to this day, I'm still standing up. We passed a bill to make Roe versus Wade the law of the land 2 times. After the Dobbs decision, the Senate didn't take it up. So I think it's incumbent on people to, like me and all of us, to let everybody know, including younger voters, that we all share a common set of values. Those values are everybody in this country should be able to get an education and to have it paid for. Everybody in this country should be able to get a good job with a good pay. Everybody in this country should be able to have a good place to live if they want home ownership, and they should be able to retire. That should be our goal. That's what we stand for as board Democrats. Yes, sir.
I'm an older man on Medicaid, and I'm on the fence between, hey, let's try and save Medicaid, and between hey, let's try and save Medicaid, and no, let's burn it all down and let them suffer. And then we'll start voting, and then maybe we'll start voting for inheritance. What do you say to people that convince me to not go to burn it all down?
Well, I'm sorry to say to you that what I think is gonna happen with this big bad bill is it is gonna put it all down over our objections. And I think about, like I meant, that combined with the student loan, you know, repayment that the Trump administration start making people start to pay student loans, and with the TANF, the food security. All those three things are gonna put, I mean, you ask about younger voters, these are gonna put millions of people in desperate financial straits. And I think it's, and so I think from a moral standpoint, I can't say I'm gonna let it burn down, because what that means is the young woman I met who was working 3 jobs to get insulin is gonna probably die because she won't be able to get her insulin. It means that, you know, it means that people who want to follow their dreams and get an education can't do that. I can't morally, like I happen if I can stop it, but you know, what we have to do is we have to let people know who is doing this. And who is doing this is Donald Trump and the Republicans. And they don't care. Yes, sir.
What political or legislative conditions must be set in order for the United States to completely reform immigration?
So the question was, what political and legislative things need to be done to fix the broken immigration system? You know, we have 11 million people in this country who are here on an undocumented status. And these are the people that Donald Trump is targeting. These are people who have, many of them, been here for decades. And they've been working hard, they've been playing by the rules, they've been paying taxes, and they don't get anything in response, and they don't get anything back because they can't. And Trump and his people told the ICE people that they should go and get they had to get 3,000 people a day. So what they do, they went over to the Home Depots, they went over to the farms, and they went over to the construction sites and got people who don't have a criminal record, who are just hardworking. What this has done, I mean, it's horrible. I was just out, some of you might have seen, the Democrats and our delegation went out to ICE, to the GEO facility yesterday, and I met with Jeanette, who is my constituent now, and who's been an advocate. I filed a bill to try to keep her here. But I think that this shocking and inhumane effort on behalf of the Trump administration is actually backfiring on them. If you look at the polling, the vast majority of Americans now think that the people I talked about should be given an opportunity to live here. And so I actually think that if we can take the temperature down a little bit, we could do comprehensive immigration reform. Right now, though, like I said, the Republican Party is a cult, and they're not going to agree to do anything, but they are doing it at their own risk. I remember back when we were in the majority, there was one day I was presiding over the House. I had a little side gig of presiding over the House because I'm kind of fierce and they don't mess with me. But I was presiding. They were doing a bill, and it was a bipartisan bill. And here's what the bill was. It was by Democrats and Republicans from agricultural districts. And what it said is if somebody had been here for a long time, played by the rules, done all of these things, they could get on a path to be at the back of the line for citizenship. And we actually passed that bill through the House. It was a minor bill, but it could have been a first start. Then, of course, in the Senate, it didn't go anywhere.
So, are we not going to see any major reform until there's a wholesale free
I don't think these people will do it. I don't think they will.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, right here when you get a chance, Congresswoman, that's it coming out.
Okay. I'm going
Thank you.
on.
I don't mind. I was the first stand up on that one.
Well, let's
third
take
hand
your
up on that.
question then, go ahead.
Awesome. So, my thing is, I don't know what goes on publicly as it relates to, I don't know what goes on privately as it relates to supporting younger membership in Congress as like Jasmine Crockett receiving leadership position, other young people receiving leadership positions in the Congress. I think that would be a wonderful way to go ahead to do act, and that way that'll keep people interested in the party. What work have you done to do that publicly and privately? Secondly, do you feel that it was a mistake when Hakeem Jeffries got the Democrats together to support Mike Johnson to be the speaker? If we would have let them fail then, people said it was going to hurt, but I think the pain that's causing now is hurting a lot more.
Okay, first, thank you for both of those questions, and I'm happy that you asked them because I do, just like when I came to Congress many years ago, I had mentors. I really see it as my job to mentor younger members. And so I've been trying to do it with everything that I do. And I'll just give you a couple of examples. I am the co-chair of the Japan Study Group in Congress. And we're the ones to take the primary role, and I can talk to you about that someday. I've brought a new member of Congress, Jill Takuda, from Hawaii, and I'm building her up so someday she can take my place. And Jill, her parents are Native Okinawans, so she has a really good perspective on this. I've been actually mentoring Jasmine because, like me, she's a trial lawyer, and so I've been, as much as she wants to be mentored, I've been helping Jasmine with stuff. But the one that I have mentored the most, and you can ask for this, I've mentored Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez the most. And I'll tell you what, Alex came into Congress, and she was, Alex came into Congress, and she was a superstar. She defeated Joe Crowley, who was this old-time New York politician, and she got there and she had so many great ideas, so much she wanted to do, but she had to figure out how she was going to do it. And so one of the first things she wanted to do, she wanted to get on Energy and Commerce, because Energy and Commerce, as I told you before, is the powerhouse committee in the House in terms of policy. So I started trying to help her get on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and the first time she tried, she got blocked by some of the senior members. But I helped her get on 2 Congresses ago, and now she's on Energy and Commerce. So this Congress, I got her onto the Health Subcommittee. I sort of cherry-picked my Health Subcommittee because I knew that would be a big subcommittee in this Congress. And I've been working quite closely. Also, I don't want to go into this in front of this group, but I've also been helping mentor Alex on some other personal stuff that I don't want to talk about. But when we did that markup of the Big Bad Bill in our subcommittee, we had my whole, it was like the A-team defense. Same thing, we had RFK Jr. come in to do a hearing, and we all met in advance, and it was like the primo litigation team there. So that's one example I can give you. With respect to your second question about Hakeem Jeffries, I have no idea what you're talking about, him letting Mike Johnson become Speaker, because every single Democrat voted against Mike Johnson for Speaker every single time. And I'll tell you what else, on every vote that we've had on the Big Bad Bill, on all the other bills, every Democrat showed up. We just don't have a majority. We're between 3 and 5 votes short. When they did the Big Bad Bill, for coming back from the Senate, you might recall, they did it over the 4th of July recess, and people were all over the world. There were people in Poland on delegations. There were people like me who were on vacation with their families. There, everybody. We all came back. One of my colleagues from California, all the Democrats, one of my Democratic colleagues had planned surgery that week because we were supposed to be on recess, and he had to fly across the country with his wife so his wife could change his tubes coming back. So all I have to say to you, your Democrats have been fierce, and we have been fighting this every step of the way.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Congressman, with all due respect, that's not honest, and I hate to have my questions turned for platform building. You all supported his process to achieve the speaker's position on that. Okay, I'll send it to your office later, that's fine. But my other question, okay, no, and that's fine, I'll send it to your office later. But my question is, what have you done publicly to support chair positions of younger Democrats in the Congress? Publicly. Do you support younger Democrats holding chair positions?
Absolutely. Angie Craig was elected as chair of the Agriculture Committee, and I absolutely.
Okay, that's all. That was the original question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yes, sir.
My concern is that anything regarding non-public, the rules don't matter anymore. What's right and humane doesn't matter anymore. And Democrats are still trying to play by the playbook as it always has been the right thing to do. And yet the other side is damn about the playbook and does whatever they do. And all these awful things that they do is keep on going through. And I don't think anybody's surprised at the big, beautiful bill passed.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think we could have done to stop it beyond what we did?
It's an old saying, the way to deal with crazy is crazy and
Okay, so that's not
well,
I would do it if
we
I
have
would
to
do it.
kind of
I-
tell the public
let me- yeah.
that we've got new, fresh, radical ideas that we could put forth and you know, like in Texas, they all left.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm ready, but let me tell you this. I'll give you one example. I'll give you one example. Is this outrageous redistricting that Greg Abbott wants to do in Texas, and they all left, right? So then, all these states like Colorado, they did these commissions. I want to ask you, how many of you people supported that commission? Okay, I hope you're rethinking that. I did not support that because I don't think we should tie one hand behind our back when we're doing redistricting. And a lot of the people that were on the redistricting commission in Colorado were Republican politicians. I'm just Gavin Newsom and some of the other, and Kathy Hochul and some of the other Democrats in states where they've got these commissions have said that if the Republicans are not going to play by the rules in Texas, then we shouldn't play by the rules either in redistricting. And I agree with that. And in fact, on social media last week, I said this. I think that all of the states with commissions like we have should put them on pause until everybody has a commission or no commission. That's just one thing. Yeah.
You're all over again. People who be on our redistricting commission because I did census for Michigan only and I want to get a commission. But it's like
It's all about your own money.
unpaid. It's ridiculous.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel very good. I feel very good that I did not support that. I got to tell you. Well, every state would have to do it. Now, let me say one other thing though. Let me say one other thing about redistricting. Is if Greg Abbott succeeds in changing the map, he may be sorry what he wished for, and I'll tell you why. Because he is diluting some of the other seats in order to try to get more Republican seats. And my colleagues, Henry Cuellar and Vicente Gonzalez, who are down at the border, they think that even if they change their districts to make them more Republican, they will win again. And we have a number of districts all throughout the country that we believe that we can win given the current situation. Let me just give you a couple of examples. And one example is that one example is all of the special elections that we've had up to this date. The Democrats have either won seats they shouldn't have won, or they've had much larger margins than in the last election. There was just an election in Rhode Island. I don't know if any of you know about this election in Rhode Island about a week or two ago. And in the last, I think in November, the Democrat won that seat by 12 points. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. And in this special election that they just had, the Democrat won by 56 points. So people are mad. Yeah.
In 1971, a person making federal minimum wage, working 40 hours a week, could buy 1.8 ounces of gold. Today, that equates to $150 an hour. What does it take for the United States Congress to pass a living wage in America of at least $97 an hour?
I mean, we need the Democrats. We support raising the minimum wage too, right in front of you. Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on the redistricting. I believe that balanced districts will eliminate the loons, right?
Say that again.
Balanced districts, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then another from Castle, from, the gun-toting, whatever her name is, Bobbitt, only wins because of really unbalanced districts. And if we get more balanced districts, you would, like you said about your friends on the border, there's real fight there, right? And
I feel my question was not answered.
People in office and people.
I think it said a high bar.
It really
Well,
depends
honestly,
on the
in
individual,
1971,
and
a
it
person
depends on
making
the
federal
position,
minimum wage, working 40 hours, could purchase 1.8 ounces of gold.
really strong
So that equates to $150 an hour
who have
now.
reputations for working
You know.
hard and not for compromising.
So,
I mean,
I'm not sure I would use the gold
And
standard.
there's people who are in very
certainly
tenuous districts who won't work with
trying to
anybody.
peg
Yeah,
minimum
I-
wage to
yes.
inflation.
One more question over to this lady in the back here.
Hi, thank you very much for all your good work, and I agree that Democrats need to be elected in these dire times that we're experiencing. However, one obstacle is the sellout that's happening in terms of energy policy, and I'm referring to the Atomic Energy Advancement Act. Many of us, especially people my age, around 60, work so very hard to call out nuclear power as an abomination against our health. It led to
I feel my question was not answered,
uranium pollution
and
in our
it
air,
was
water, and
ignored.
soil, and hotter in Colorado and other places around the world. We also depended on Russia for uranium, and then when we rely on nuclear power, we rely on its transportation that is vulnerable both to terrorism and to accidents, and then we rely on nuclear reactors that are vulnerable to terrorism and accidents, and then we have nuclear waste to deal with, and there's no permanent place for nuclear waste. However, you advanced this bill, and it just absolutely breaks my heart after the hard work that we did to stop nuclear energy from taking over our country. Not only that, but it's highly expensive, and there's been massive delays. It's not a viable source, and it interferes with our progress towards renewable energy. So why the hell would you support this destructive source of energy when we have viable sources of geothermal, solar, and wind energy that we need to get behind, and it is not a good backup for that?
So let me just say, I support a neutral, I support renewable energy. And when I was in my role as the ranking Democrat on the Energy Subcommittee, and with the Biden administration, I supported all of the policies towards supporting wind, solar, hydro.
So I asked my
geothermal,
question, but it was not
everything like
answered.
that. Most scientists now agree that if we're going to get to 0% carbon emissions by 2030, which is our goal, and it's existential for my new grandkids, Eva age 3 and Louis 4 months. It's existential for them. And most of the scientists now say nuclear energy needs to be a part of that mix.
That's
I
not
know you don't agree with that, but you asked
And
me.
it exposes us to radionuclides that cause cancer.
Right, I know you don't agree with me, but you asked me why I did it, and so that's what I
Okay,
explained.
well, I hope so you will
So,
abandon
but let me just say, what this,
policy that is destructive to our health.
okay, what,
Please.
okay, what this bill did is this bill,
She's looking for you.
okay, what this bill did is this bill.
It's not worth our help. Nothing
I'm
to
just
be
trying,
worth our help.
I'm trying to answer your question. Answer your question. What this bill did is it modernized the way we review nuclear energy construction projects at the Nuclear Energy Commission. And most importantly, the part of the bill I put in there was training for the people who are going to be approving of those policies, so that people can so that people can see what those policies are, and so that they can give a good scientific review. I in no way am saying we should build nuclear reactors if it's not safe, if it's not appropriate. And the other thing, and you can go back and look at the record if you want to, of all the hearings and the markup, but I have been sort of the voice in the wilderness from day one, saying we can't do any of this until we figure out how we're going to dispose of the nuclear waste. And we have never, ever been able to do that in this country. But so until we figure out how we're disposing of the waste, nuclear energy is not going to be a large percentage of our sources. You guys, I've got another event at 7, and I know you have a lot, and a lot of people have questions. I will do that.
All right, we'll fucking leave. Excuse me.
Chicken tinga.
There you go. That's pretty good. Chicken tinga. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Please socialize. Please tip your bartenders and waitresses. Big round of applause for Vine Street Pub today, please. Thank you to all of you for showing up. Please talk to each other, socialize, exchange information.
Can I get by, or should I wait?
Just get with me about anything you want to ask. And we'll throw some music back on at the top.
Or you can go right out that door.
Excuse me. I'll try that door.
I'm like, oh.
Thank you, sir. Well, that was that. We did not get our question answered. And I thought it was a real fucking weak fucking denying the question.
Are you a tracker?
Hmm?
Are you a tracker?
What's a tracker?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Of course.
So I'm gonna call this. I guess we'll upload it. Waited there that whole fucking time to get a response to my question. My question was not given an answer. Somebody in the crowd just said vote more, put more Democrats in Congress, and then they're like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Anyways, I'm calling this. Peace. Love you.